are down by 3. White, turnaround. Oh, yeah! Overtime. Hero. Oh, tough delivery. This is unbelievable excitement. It's ball to drop. And Ball lays it out.
Runaway for the NBA to begin the postseason. An overtime thriller in Charlotte. And this one coming down to the wire. The drive. And hit score. Now the Suns down by 2. Green for the lead. No. Rebound Goodwin. Knocked away by Grant. The Blazers are going to the playoffs.
Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to First Take. I'm Shea Cornett. Stephen A. Smith is with us, and Brian Windhorst will join us in a minute as well. Playing games happened last night. Stephen A., good morning to you. How are you this morning?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing? How you doing? Just before anybody bothers me, I don't have my tie on today because we all know I'm usually on my game. But the problem was I was rushing, traveling, and I forgot some pieces of my wardrobe, my tie being one of them. I'm sorry. I apologize. But, Shay, you always holding it down. So we good.
It's all right. It's okay. We'll give you a pass this one day. You know, sometimes we forget things when we're flying all over the country, you know? Listen, Wendy, we can't always be as buttoned up as you, all right? Despite staying up very late last night, I might add. Let's go to the play-in games. They did not lack drama last night, particularly in Charlotte, where the Hornets took the Heat to overtime. They won 126-127 on a Lamelo Ball game-winning layup, eliminating the Heat from the playoffs. However, the Heat were without Bam Adebayo for the entire second half after Ball was seen grabbing his leg, essentially tripping him. Here was after the game, Coach Spo speaking on it.
You know, for that.
Lamelo, it kind of looked like on film that you might have grabbed his leg. I mean, did you intentionally grab his leg?
I haven't even seen. Like I said, I got hit in the head, didn't even know where I was. But, yeah, just playing basketball. But like I said, sorry, and I'm going to check on him.
I appreciate the apology. Lamelo Ball did finish with 30 points and 10 assists. Again, Bam Adebayo did leave with that back injury, and he never returned. And so, Wendy, when you look at that play, do you think Ball should have maybe been eliminated with that game, ejected? What did you think?
He could have been ejected. There's a lot of dynamics at play in this particular situation. It's a fast break that starts the opposite way. Bam Adebayo saves the ball from going out of bounds, and the ball goes the other direction. Sometimes officials are loath to call fouls there because the team gets upset that you stopped a fast break. But the point Eric Spoelstra makes is that the referee, Curtis Blair, is standing over top of the play. And so he elects not to make this call when he sees it happen. And once that happens, Shay, because this is what I'm hearing, people will say, well, why wasn't it reviewed? Why wasn't it reviewed? Well, once the gameplay goes on, they're not in position to review it. It's not a matter once the gameplay goes on of that call. So that's important to realize. Let me say two things about this. Number one, the Heat fans immediately went into their archives and found a situation of this last season, at the beginning of last season, where Lamelo Ball did a very similar play to Bam Adebayo, where he felt like he had gotten fouled and basically tripped him as Bam was coming up the floor. That's number one. Number two, and here's the play right here. This happened last year. So anyway, number two, the only play that I can think of, and I'm not trying to say I'm the arbiter of all memory here. This play right there, the only play that I can think of that is similar to this comes from the playoffs 2 years ago. And this is going to make your blood boil, Stephen A., because this is a moment from Knicks fans that they really, really rue. When Joel Embiid sort of upended Mitchell Robinson in the playoff game in that series. Now, this play hurt Mitchell Robinson's foot. He was never the same. That's beside the point for this discussion. The reason this is relevant was this play was called. They went to review, and they called this a flagrant one. Not only was it called a flagrant one, the same crew chief was in the game last night, Stephen A., Zach Zarba. So while I can't predict what Zach Zarba would have done if he went over to the screen, that was a flagrant one. So I know the Heat fans this morning are screaming that he should have been ejected. And because Bam Adebayo was injured on the play that badly, they could have ejected him. Calling this a flagrant 2 would not have been egregious. And then you've got some people who are wondering if he's going to be suspended for Friday's game, which will be when the Hornets can play to get the number 8 seed. I do not think he will be suspended. However, I do expect the league to retroactively assess a flagrant, which I understand will not make the Heat fans any happier.
Same here. I get where you're coming from. Let's analyze it from this perspective. When you compare that to what Joel Embiid did to Mitchell Robinson a couple of years back, the yanking of the leg was far more conspicuous, in my opinion, and flagrant than what we saw last night. Lamelo Ball is driving to the basket. He does get hit in the head. He falls to the ground. If Bam Adebayo is on one leg off balance and falling back, when Lamelo Ball definitely swiped his left leg. So there's no question that he did it, and there's no question that he easily could have been called for a flagrant or whatever. Me personally, I think that it should have been called, but I think an ejection. I think an ejection, particularly considering the magnitude of the game, not knowing at the moment that Bam Adebayo would be unable to return, I think that would have been a bit extreme. And I think the referees made the right decision in terms of not ejecting him. They could have called the flagrant foul. They could have done that. They could have brought attention to it, no doubt. And it's really unfortunate that Bam Adebayo ended up because, like Tyler Hero said post-game, Bam is tough. Bam plays through pain all the time. For him to not come back into the game, you got to appreciate and recognize the severity of it, because this is not a dude that misses action often, and this is not a dude that doesn't have a strong threshold for pain. So for him not to come back, it shows you how significant the injury was, because this is Bam Adebayo we're talking about. That is not normal. But the referees can't possibly know that. And if you got a playoff berth on the line and you got a star like Lamelo Ball, even though he didn't look like one shooting 2 of 16 from three-point range, but if you got a star like Lamelo Ball on a basketball court with a Bam Adebayo and others, you certainly don't want to eject somebody in the second quarter and make that kind of decision, because then some of us would have been complaining about how the officials interfered with the outcome of the game. That's the last thing you want as an official. So we got to take that into consideration. In the end, Lamelo Ball definitely was the wrong play to make. I don't think it warranted an ejection because, again, it wasn't nearly as extreme as Joel Embiid's yanking Mitchell Robinson's leg was. But nevertheless, it was a play. It doesn't have any place in the game. Eric Spoelstra's right to be pretty ticked off about it. A legitimate argument could be made that if Bam Adebayo was on the court, they don't lose this game because we know what he brings to the table for the Miami Heat. All of those things are true. Nobody's wrong here in what they're suggesting. I'm simply making the point that if you are an official with a game of that magnitude, this second quarter, this is Lamelo Ball we're talking about, to have ejected him from the game over that, I think that would have caused a big time stir. And I think that they made the right decision by not ejecting him. But in hindsight, looking at it, there definitely should be a punishment coming down the pike. And most importantly, even though that doesn't, assuage or alleviate any disgust from the Miami Heat faithful, I think it's important for the league to send a message moving forward. That stuff is not going to be tolerated at all. And they're going to be a bit extreme in the punitive damage that they exercise if somebody tries to pull that nonsense again.
Yeah, he did apologize. I think he knew afterwards the magnitude of it, obviously, because Bam never returned, and then he realized the uproar of the situation. So he did apologize and say he was going to check on Bam. I don't know what happened beyond that. Go ahead.
I will say this. I get it, and I'm not questioning the sincerity of Lamelo Ball, but if I'm the Miami Heat, you know what? That better be a phone call, because if he had come into the locker room after the game, I'm pretty pissed at him. I'm just telling you. Because we're going home. We're going home. Our season is over. You took out one of our best players, clearly our best defensive player. You took him out. I don't give a damn about your apology in that moment. We going home. And we don't believe we lost 127 to 126 in overtime. That's how we lost this game. And we didn't have this dude for the entire second half because of what you did. I'm pretty peeved if I'm the Miami Heat, and I don't give a damn about his apology at that particular. I'm going to check on you. You're the doctor. We don't give a damn. We don't need you to check on us. I don't even want to talk to him if I'm the Miami Heat fans, if I'm the Miami Heat players at that particular moment. Again, that's not knocking Lamelo Ball. I'm sure he's sincere. But in the end, he's playing, and the Miami Heat are going home. And I can assure you, even though they're not going to admit it because they're first class, they're not going to admit it, but they firmly believe if Bam Adebayo was on that court, they're moving on. They're not losing last night's game.
Yeah. I don't think LaMelo Ball leads the league in mature acts. So let's just say that occasionally he doesn't show the greatest judgment across the board, and this was bad judgment, and he has shown this
Correct.
in the past. Secondly, I will say you could have written a novella on Lamelo Ball in this game. He was 11 of 30. He was 2 of 16 on 3. He committed a egregious foul moments before this that almost cost his team the game. And then he hits the game winner on a play, by the way, where he was fouled where it wasn't called. Jaime Jaquez slapped him right on the arm, and he made an incredible